Bepis, and welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 guide series. Today's episode, I'm going to be telling you about the three most basic types of government. I know we briefly touched on feudal government during the beginner's guide series, but this one's going to go a little bit more in depth for people who are starting somewhere else, say as we are, for example, in Sweden, or if you started in Ireland. You're going to need to know about tribal, but we're going to cover tribal, feudal, and clan. So, starting with tribal government. We'll read the little tooltip here about tribal realm. Development in counties is ignored, meaning development does not matter to increasing taxes or levies. It also doesn't count towards increasing innovation progress. You can have a co-monarch at kingdom tier, which is pretty normal. You use prestige to buy men-at-arms, which is very different. And no matter what your religion is, you can raid foreign countries for loot as a tribe. So you can even do it as a Catholic tribe. The other real big thing is you cannot progress your technology past the tribal innovations era. You need to get to the next... in order to get to the next era, you need to actually reform your government to be either clan or feudal, and that depends on your religion. You also use, for example, to build buildings here, you have a bunch of different buildings than normal, but in order to actually build these buildings, you use prestige and money, not just normal money. You have to use both. And the only ones that's the same as feudal is trade port. But there's gathering halls, war camps, palisades, and markets. If you want my recommendation, I would recommend building a building specifically for your men-at-arms, whichever one you're going to pick, and build the building that helps that. And then I would recommend getting trading outposts for the extra cash. If you can get trade ports, then definitely get the trade ports, because those will be a bonus for you for when you convert your government to either clan or feudal. These will stay. When you convert your government, your tribal buildings will not come over with you. So you'll lose the marketplace entirely, but if you have a trade port, it'll stay because it is a feudal building. If that makes any sense. You can replace the building at any time once you've converted by clicking on the building and clicking this replace building button. You can replace it with anything. I would recommend doing that once you actually convert to feudalism and once you've gotten your money in a decent state, because you don't maintain your men-at-arms with money as a tribe, you do it with your prestige. So essentially, prestige is worth just as more as money. There's also something else you gotta know. Your laws. Your taxes in a tribe are based entirely upon how famous you are. So, your men will give you more money and taxes the more famous you are. And this is something that is not told to you anywhere, but you need to know this. Also, you want to increase your crown authority as a tribe. You need it to get to the max to settle and become feudal or clan, but a lot of your vassals will hate you for it. But you also cannot imprison anybody, and you can't revoke titles unless you get to 3 and 2. 2 for imprisonment, 3 for revocation. So I recommend starting the process immediately, pass law, like so, because you can't go to the next one immediately. You need to wait, I think, 10 years before you go to the next one, unless you're Norse because the Norse have the... which one was it? I think it's ting meat? No. Where is it? No. Okay, the only reason why you can build trade ports as Norse is because of your culture. Okay, so if you're another tribe, you can't even build them, I don't think. Maybe? Possibly. You'll figure it out when you play. But most people who play tribes typically play Norse, so that's why I'm starting with Norse. Let me see if I can find that breakdown for you guys on taxes. Right here. If you hover over subjects like this, taxable income, let's find one who's actually part of our, duchy. This guy. So, his domain is 1.6, we can tax, we're getting 8% from level of fame. And 15% from level of fame on levies. So, I'm assuming that level of fame will increase by about 8% up till 20% or 30%. Somewhere around there, I would say, is usually the max. Didn't mean to unpause that. Is there anything else that I need to talk about for a tribe? Oh, right. The, all tribes have the Conquest CB, meaning you can just go to your neighbor, declare war, and invade them. You also gain access to the Subjugation CB as well, which, okay, here's the difference. Conquest just takes it from the guy and gives it to you. Subjugate, you can only use it once, and they have to be of a certain size to be able to use it. But what you do is you take his primary title, and the guy still owns the land, but now he's your vassal instead. You also gain access to the Invade Kingdom CB, which is once per character, but it allows you to target an entire kingdom. That's real nice. Anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, right. This is something I didn't touch on in the Warfare episode, because it didn't need to be mentioned immediately, especially for where we were in the British Isles. But when you go to war, your supply limit is reduced when you're in hostile country. I think it's only by... Should be able to see it over here. Is it not? Okay. So it just applies... Okay. So when a developed nation, any non-tribal nation, attacks a tribal nation, they have to overcome the... there's a penalty to supply limit when attacking a tribe. Meaning it's a lot harder to go in and attack and take stuff because the tribe is a tribe. There's not a lot of things there. And it's not like the nomads where there's literally nothing. There's still stuff, but it's extremely spread out until you get to the main tribe compound. Or until you get to a temple. If they even have a temple. So... that's that. Anything else I'm forgetting? Right, the decisions menu. Adopt feudal ways. You need... This is the prerequisite to becoming feudal or clan. It depends entirely on your religion, which one you become. You need absolute tribal authority. Your faith must be organized. Your level of fame must be a distinguished or above, and the development level in your capital needs to be greater or equal to 10, and you must have 70% of the tribal era innovations. So that's a very tall order. The easiest way to change the religion one is to just simply convert to a different religion. However, you also need to get your development up to 10 or higher. That's going to take you a long time. Trust me, it's going to take you a long time to develop your land up to that level, especially if you're Norse. Your best option is through raiding. What you need to do is you need to pick the raiding options that take development from other highly developed places and give it to you. So when you raid as a tribe, and you go to a place that is more developed than you, say you start invading Paris, you start raiding Paris, there's a chance that it will reduce their development level by 1 and add 80 development progress to your current development level. So, raid to get that development level up. It's still going to take a while, so you're still going to want to increase county development in your capital, which will also take a while. But essentially, especially if you're starting in Sweden like we are, it should take you maybe about 50 years at the absolute worst to convert your place to a feudal government. Reforming your faith, if you want to do that, if you're an unreformed faith, if you want to do that, you definitely can. So for something like Norse faith, you have 2 holy sites in Scandinavia. There's a 3rd down here in Paderborn, or you can try and go for Jorvik. So you have a really good option for the 3rd holy site to reform your faith. We'll talk about faith reformation in another video after we get done with the governments. So that's that. I'm going to swap over to another save file and talk about feudal real quick, and then we're going to go to clans. So I'll see you with the feudalism. Alright, welcome back, gentlemen. We're now in with the feudalism portion of this video. Feudalism is basically your bog standard government type from here. It's very simple. You use contracts, you have cadet branches, you can have co-monarchs as a kingdom tier, which is normal. Basically, how this works is every single one of your vassals has a contract with you. So if we look at it like this, I want to close this. This is the contract between us and the Count of Kueno. So what we need to do here is look at what this is. So the contract is feudal levies on the bottom, taxes on the top. Special contract, which there's a lot more than these, but this is just the starting versions. There is succession, forced partition, succession right, sanctioned war declaration, guaranteed council right, and title revocation. You can use all of this to your advantage or have it be used against you. Now, let's say you want increased taxes. You have to first increase taxes, lower feudal taxes, and you need some other benefit. So, sanctioned war declaration. That's just increase this, otherwise it would be considered tyranny. You cannot make more than 2 tyrannical decisions at once. You can increase feudal levies and decrease taxes. That's only 1, but increasing taxes by themselves is considered 2 stages of tyranny, which you cannot do. Now, normal taxes are 9% taxes, 18.7% levies. You can drop them down to 77.5% or no contribution, and you can raise them to 13 You can raise the levies up to 26.2 and 37.5. Taxes go from 9 to 2.2 to 0, and up to 13.5 to 22.5. Levies are generally useless, so you only really use levies to get more taxes if you can. Or raise it up when you have a hook on them. You can raise it up from low to normal if you have a hook on them to basically get it back to normal so you can increase their taxes again. Special contract, Palatine is mostly a political clout contract. You get extra prestige, they get extra prestige, their fellow vassals like them more, and their hostile schemes are better. I personally don't prefer it because it also reduces their taxes. Castellan increases levy tax, makes them exempt from normal taxes, essentially. They pay half of the normal taxes. In this case, it's minus 50%, which you can't even go above, get up to 50% in the first place, so it's not happening. Their army gold maintenance goes down 20%. They have a +5 to defender advantage. Levy, garrison, and reinforcement size all increased by 20%. It basically makes them like a defensive bulwark against an area. It's nice, but ultimately not really all that good unless you're playing a lot more autonomous and you can't. And for example, like if you're a hegemony, this can be useful because you can't defend your your vassals from external wars going against them. So if you put that on, it gives them a much better chance of surviving until they become bigger and able to defend themselves more. Forced partition succession rights basically means that the vassal has to switch their succession law to partition. They cannot have any succession law beyond partition, so they cannot go past high partition, they can't get single heirs, and they must pay 25% more prestige to change laws. It is supposed to help you with... It's supposed to help you with maintaining their succession, so they'll split up if they have more people on death, but if you're having that issue, you may as well consider switching to administrative government. War declaration sanctioned. Basically what this does is the vassal is capable of declaring war regardless of liege's crown authority, and they pay less for casus belli within the realm. Debatable on how useful this is. I would recommend not having this on, because it lets them get too much power by warring in the realm. Council right guaranteed. Never have this on. It basically forces you to put usually somebody who's incredibly incompetent on your council. If you have a vassal with this, get rid of them or get rid of this as soon as possible. Protected title revocation. Get rid of this immediately, because this will stop you from taking any actions against the vassal, especially if they're rebelling, or if they're a different religion. Get rid of this immediately. There's also one more that we cannot see because we don't have any vassals of a different faith, but it is, it's religious rights protected. You can't ask them to convert. Get rid of that immediately as well, because you want to convert them as soon as possible. Unlike tribe, you pay with everything with money. Your development affects your taxes and levies. It's the bog standard. You have the option to convert to administrative at any time as long as you have fulfill all of these requirements here. And yeah, that's that. That's administrative. That's feudal. I will see you all with clan. We'll be doing clan next. It's going to be similarly short, but there's a lot more to talk about. I will see you all with clan. Alright, gentlemen, we're back with clan now. So, this is a little bit different. Clan is much like feudal. You pay with men-at-arms with money. Your development growth affects taxes and levies. You have... but that's about where the similarities end. You have tax jurisdictions instead of... you have tax jurisdictions instead of normal contracts. Basically, you have different amounts of vassals in a tax jurisdiction. They pay you taxes as long as there is a person to collect the taxes, and the tax decrees determine what they pay. So, basic taxes, 20%. Zakat, luxury taxes, 20% on, or 40% on taxes, 20% on levies. ICTA, 10% levies, 1% men-at-arms damage per vassal on the system. Ghazi, tax multiplier up 10%. It's basically frontier taxes. Jizya, anybody who is of a different religion will pay double taxes, but no levies. Mukata, prestige, but I'm assuming it's normal taxes as well. Deccan, which is unique to Persia, is 35 and 35. And Magu, this is also from Persia, development growth, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm assuming also that this is anything that says, doesn't say tax multiplier on it, and it just says liege per vassal. I'm assuming it's the same 20%. You also have a decision to search for tax collectors. You also have something called House Unity. It ranges from antagonistic to harmonious. Each one gives you different decisions down here. I forget what all of them are, but they're usually just normal. Like bonuses for landed house member, you get a bonus, and you get a house bonus over here. Basically, antagonistic basically is your succession law is basically everything gets divided equally, but you are more likely to attack other people, and it's basically the realm is very unstable. Competitive is everything gets a little bit better. You have unlimited access to invasions, by the way, with antagonistic. Competitive, it's down to 10 years. Impassive is normal. It allows members to challenge the house head to take place. Friendly, you cannot use invasions, but you can rescue house members, and you can unify the house. So if there's other people who are places broken off or independent, but they're still part of your house, you can unify them by going to war. People are less likely to join a faction. Lifestyle experience goes up. And harmonious, which is my favorite, harmonious succession is high succession. A high partition, essentially. You can rescue house members, unify the house. Again, cannot use invasion, but house vassals are significantly less likely to create factions. You can use befriend against other people. Casus Belli cost is up a lot. Dread Decay is down a lot. Oh, it says it down here. Placate vassals. I can't even see what they are. Wonderful. Improve economy and placate vassals. That's house stability. Send bailiffs, encourage house to improve economy. Same thing, house stability. Improve taxation, consult house members. Improve taxation, it sounds obvious. Consult house members is... Probably you go to your house members and basically talk about things. Enforce intrigue network, organize house members for war. Okay. Intrigue network is probably, either scheme defense or scheme success chance. One or the other. Is there anything else? Basically, it's a lot of focus on... kin. You can appoint a vizier, which is like a co-emperor. But you can also take their money as well. Increase aptitude of tax collectors based on how much the scales of power favor them. I don't like it because I don't like sharing my power with other people. It's just a window to get way worse stuff. But, yeah, that is clan. So, it's very similar to house, just with the added, of extra stuff regarding kinship. It's much more beneficial to land your kin rather than it is to have them go wherever they feel like. So, I'm going to leave you all with that there, and I will see you all in the next episode, where we'll be covering... I haven't decided yet, either Celestial, Mandala, or Ritsuryo. We'll be covering all three of them eventually, I just haven't decided which one yet. Probably Celestial first. So I will see you all in the next episode, so stay tuned.